Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your hashtag Better Together devotion for today. Make sure to click like, share, subscribe, comment, and all that fun stuff so that you can share the good news that we share in this channel. So, I'm talking about marriages today. And one of the things about marriages is, statistically speaking, there are three huge fights that almost all couples are going to have and need to prepare for at some point in their marriage. The first one, if you haven't guessed it, is you didn't guess it. The first one's about finances. A lot of times people jump to other things when they think about fights, dishes or something else. But really, one of the biggest fights that couples have is about finances. And it's because of you have two different people coming together from two different patterns of spending, two different patterns of saving, two different ideologies, really, oftentimes, about money. And then you're usually somehow working and sorting through those finances together. Whether you have joint accounts or not, you're still a unit, and a taxable unit. After all, you're saying, I love each other enough to be able to make this legal. And a part of that is finances are a huge, big argument. A way around this is to be sharing, and I'm going to talk more about that this week. Sharing in everything that happens financially. The second big fight is actually a fun one, in my opinion, because it comes a little later in the relationship most of the times, but you can prepare for it and make sure it doesn't even have to happen at all, and that is in-laws. A lot of times, folks, whenever they have children, especially, will suddenly have in-law fights, and that the in-laws start meddling and saying things in a relationship. I'll be honest with you, as a pastor at weddings, I always look at the bride and say, hey, if his mom or your mom or anybody's mom comes in and says, hey, why don't you do it this way, and you're feeling like you're being pushed in a corner and you got the deer in the headlights look at me. You and I will go talk, and they can be mad at me, and I'll say this is the way it is, because it's your wedding, and also you need to be just as firm. It's your marriage. It's the relationship that you're building. Yes, listen to the advice. Yes, listen to the patterns that you saw in your own households that you came out of. But then decide, intentionally make decisions about what your life will be. And before you have kids, go ahead and set patterns about holidays. It doesn't matter what pattern you pick, but go ahead and intentionally sit down with the parents and say, hey, we're getting married, we're starting a new family. Yes, I came from your family, but I'm starting a new family. Key phrase there. And so my new family's pattern for holidays will be this, whatever this is. You might choose Thanksgiving at one place, you might choose Christmas at another, but please, for the love of God, don't take the infant to 3 or 4 different with a mixed family Thanksgivings and Christmases, and by the third or fourth one, you're going to be so filled with pumpkin pie you won't be able to eat any more turkey anyway. Set patterns for your in-laws. It helps them be intentional, to be open about it and honest about it. Now, the third big fight is actually not a fight at all. Statistically speaking, people often have fights about sex. But the reality is, if we dig a lot deeper into relationships, sex is more like a thermometer for how the relationship is going. If it's really hot, something might be wrong. If it's really cold, something's definitely wrong. If it's mediocre, hey, it's temperate. It's good temperatures. The reality is this, is that a lot of times other things outside of the bedroom, insecurities about our own selves and our own bodies, or past relationships and abuses, or even things that we mistrust with finances or in-laws, or arguments that we're not having, they often make their way that prevent intimacy from taking place. Be open and honest in talking. Same thing I said about finances, and you'll have a lot happier relationship. And you can avoid these 3 big fights by simply creating intentional paths forward that make it easier for you in your relationship, easier for you in your marriage.